Hello, my gorgeous Taurus. My name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your weekly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Taurini, and it's in between the 1st and the 7th of August 2022. At the beginning of this week, you are actually going to be quite surprised, because what is going to happen, you're going to come across somebody not really nice, somebody really ungenerous, and somebody who is using people, and somebody who is in love with materialistic kind of wealth, and they cannot see beyond it whatsoever. But the good thing is that you will understand that this person is a user. There is something wrong with this person. But what is really important, that this is actually going to work really good for you, because that person is going to, on one hand, provide you with a certain message, but then on another hand is the more, what are you actually going to get out of it? So they're going to be a couple of messages. One message you're going to get from that person, that it's really going to surprise you, and it's going to get you thinking, and it's really going to throw you out of a balance a little bit. But what is the most important message here is the one that you're going to get within, what you're going to understand and what you're going to realize around it at that moment in time. Because you will no longer want to be part of something that it's becoming a rather toxic, and it's bringing toxic energy into your life. And this is going to be bringing toxic energy into your life until you realize that you need to kind of remove yourself from this, because it's becoming spiritually unhealthy. And you are going to, and this is why I'm getting so excited here, because it is going to really start a process of you releasing yourself from this particular bondage. But then at the same time, it's to do with the beginning of understanding, so it's to do with you slowly but surely reaching towards the enlightenment. But at the same time, the part of that, really huge part, massive part of that, is going to be your own wake-up call, in such a way where you're going to realize that spiritually how powerful you are, how strong you are, and you're going to realize something, that there's some kind of a truth. There is a certain truth that you knew all along. You couldn't explain it, you couldn't talk about it, you couldn't kind of mention it, you couldn't even give more details yourself within yourself, but you just knew about this truth kind of all along. So that in itself, it's going to be a wake-up call. It's all about your moment, especially when it comes to things that have been on your mind, especially over the last 25 days indeed, because over the last 25 days for you, my gorgeous Taurinis, things slowly started to change. Did you notice your own vibration kind of changing a little bit in such a way where you are suddenly like a little fish, want to jump into every single water that is around you, which is absolutely brilliant. It's only highlighting one of my favorite sayings: if you don't jump in the water, you will never learn how to swim. Now you're jumping in the water, time is starting, my gorgeous Taurini, because it's all going to boil down towards you really daring to have this absolutely amazing adventure, which is going to come out of it. And this is going to be this adventure is connected to things that have been on your mind over the last 16 days. The things that have been on your mind quite a lot, persistently over the last 16 days, but you just weren't kind of daring. You see, you didn't have that power of jumping into the water and knowing and realizing, if you don't jump in the water, you will never learn how to swim. So you see why this saying is so important here, and it comes so special and sacred at this moment in time. So it's about you being ready to be daring enough in order to start an adventure. And you will know what this is, because it's going to make you feel so excited. But do not forget, for the love of God, do not forget that over the last 16 days, this what the adventure is going to be about, that you need to be daring enough in order to do it. That was on your mind for the last 16 days. So this is why this is important. And at the same time, it's just basically about you understanding that you're not going to allow yourself to feel fragile, for example, around this part of your life, because, there was a lot on your mind that affected you in such a way where you picked up on a lot on the outside that absolutely didn't make sense. And that in itself, certain things that you came across on the outside, as the time is gone by, the more and more you were understanding. And this in itself has got like such a dark power sometimes over us, and that it's like these dark entities are causing this dark power, which kind of sometimes makes us feel really fragile, because subconsciously we can be controlled, you see, by the dark entities, so this is how things kind of happen. So in order to kind of ignore these dark entities, because they can attach themselves on your subconscious mind, so that it can affect every single thought and the way of thinking you have, but especially when it comes to the actual time for planning. So people just naturally kind of get stuck a little bit until they realize, that they are having a power within them. They had power within them all this time, you see. So this is going to be good for you indeed. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, my gorgeous Torini, sorry, you're going to be facing a little bit of an obstacle here. You know why? Because, oh God, you're waiting for something, kind of like for quite a while now to happen. You're working on something. You're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting to get through, You're waiting to go on to the next stage of your life. Indeed, you're waiting for this new dimension to open up. You're waiting for the new portal at the same time. And you know what? This obstacle that I'm talking about, it's going to be caused by the delays and frustration. But then again, you are going to be blaming yourself at some moment in the past because you failed to kind of face certain facts which made you indecisive, and that indecisiveness is now naturally has kind of like has become it became like an obstacle because it's slowing things down. But don't worry, it's just like basically it's like certain things that you've learned about yourself and about your life over the last 2 years are going to be playing a really huge role, so it doesn't really matter. So that obstacle that you're going to be facing that was caused by the delay and frustration, it's also at the same time there is someone really special in your life, like your somebody very close in your life, like a family member, like a mother maybe, or a father. It's like some kind of inspiration. It's going to come through them. They don't have to be in this world anymore, your mother and the father. They could be, in this world alive, or they could be, in the spirit world. It doesn't really matter, but something that somebody so close said to you, like your mother or your father, it's going to be playing such a significant and very, very special role here, especially when it comes to you being catalyst, and especially when it comes to you understanding, the actual understanding how you have to honor certain things about your life, about yourself, especially when it comes to high standards. So your mother or your father, whether they're going to tell you something, if they're in like a spirit world, you will remember something they said, or they will inspire you in a certain way. However, they are really going to play such a giant role, such a big role here when it comes to you having your own little reawakening, but at the same time staying true to yourself and making and having the most out of this life. So it's gonna really remind you about high standards in life, and what do you need to do. You naturally and spiritually, you're gonna feel so strongly what do you need to do at this moment in time. By the time you get to the last part of this week, it's all about, your own persistence. Your own persistence, it's also going to, on one hand, really make you aware of something so special about you, especially when it comes to the ability to conclude a certain task. And then at the same time, there is a kind of like a capability going to be highlighted about yourself that you're so good about, so special about, that you must not ignore whatsoever. But on another hand, through this persistence, you're also going to be able, to understand that, we all make a mistake sometimes in life, because I can see that you're still going to blame yourself that that's something, the kind of mistake that you've made. And the sooner you understand, we all make mistakes in our lives. It doesn't really matter, my gorgeous Torini, as long as we get to the point, to the special point on our spiritual journey where we just know how to reflect on this with the knowledge that we gain through being on this earth, but also acknowledging this mistake. You're already halfway there by acknowledging, by being aware of it. You're already karmically working. You're already starting this process. So it doesn't really matter. Do not blame yourself whatsoever, because I can see that you are going to keep on blaming yourself for something. But this is also an important stage for you to understand that this is slowly coming to an end, but it just needs to be acknowledged from you whatsoever. So you are going to really kind of be able to remove the part of your life and walk away from the part of your life that no longer serves you and is dominating you. This is also connected to people in our lives that are not meant to be there anymore. And I'm not saying people maybe a family members or good people in our lives, I'm just talking about people who mean to us a lot. I'm just talking about the people that maybe we are surrounded with and by on daily or weekly basis. Maybe people who we work with are making us so unhappy to the point where we want to leave, and then we are just stuck in the process, stuck in the root. But at the same time, you need to follow your light. Do not let your life to be dimmed by anyone whatsoever. So you are gonna also, through your own persistence, you need to understand, just be persistent, because you're also going to be facing the part of your life that mean to you so much, but then again, it is just going to kind of make you feel like it's just not happening. And I'm telling you, this is so important, because we always, before something really big explodes in our lives, at the same time, we always have a bit of a challenge just beforehand. This is the way this spiritual journey is. So that in itself, it's going to be a good sign, but at the same time, it's also going to, the last part of this week, it's also very interesting when it comes to you feeling very strong connection to the people who have died, to the actual people who used to be in your life. Maybe there are going to be few people that you're going to feel a mind-blowing connection with, too. Like when it comes to the actual your ancestors and things like that. It could be few of them, like an auntie, uncle, mother, father, you know what I mean? But there also could be just one particular person who is persistently going to be on your mind at around the end of the week. You need to understand that as soon as you do this, as soon as you become aware of this person, that person is about to give you gift. That spirit that you're going to become aware of is going to be someone who was in your life. You're going to feel so strongly that person, so much stronger than you normally feel. You are normally aware of these people, these spirits, this person, but now you're going to feel something different. It's going to feel so much more powerful. And you need to understand that at that moment in time, when you start kind of thinking about someone in specific, and you will feel that person being there. On one hand, they are really kind of bringing you a very kind of important message. On another hand, they are just gonna make this path so much more magical for you, because you know that you're doing the right thing in itself. You will feel something magical here indeed, and this is to do with your own grounding and karma. But on another hand, you really need to pay attention to what was on your mind, because that spirit is having a really mind-blowing sacred message for you, that this is exactly the part of your life that it's really worrying you and scare you. It's something that it has got the bits and pieces and elements of the unknown, but you do need to understand that now it's time to step forward. Okay, so the spirit, it's also giving you a green light at the same time. So you must almost immediately, as soon as you become aware of that spirit, you must immediately, an ancestor, not just any spirit. So it's always a special message. Okay, so you must immediately pay attention to what was on your mind, what is blocking you, what is slowing you down, what is preventing you to move forward, what is still making you to ask so many questions. Sometimes we don't need to understand everything about our lives, everything about our spiritual journey. We are not meant to understand absolutely every single thing, but to follow the vibration and to do things that you feel subconsciously is taking you towards the light. This is something that you should do, and this is what your ancestor spirit is going to try to let you know. it's going to also give you so much courage. This is going to give you so much courage, my gorgeous Taurinis, indeed. But at the same time, you know, you just need to understand that the opportunity to create a good karma is absolutely now, okay? And at the same time, the spirit is also, you know, the spirit that is going to come forward is just going to bring you, really going to kind of, is going to be so influential when it comes to you working towards this final balance. It's going to help you to accept what it is indeed. Okay, my gorgeous Taurini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you, my gorgeous Taurini. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.